Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut Tips and Tricks tutorial, you are going to learn more techniques for creating tags. We will be doing a few things in this video, and the skills you will be learning are how to background scan, which should be a review of our last video where I showed you how to background scan to create these tags using the Let It Snow Designer Series paper. We are going to be creating layered tags, which is something you can do with the SDX models of your ScanNCut. We're going to be creating layered tags. And lastly, you're going to learn how to weld shapes together. The reason I'm creating another tutorial on creating tags is based on a question from a viewer. Vicky Meyer asked, is there a way to have a smaller hole for the ribbon? I think the holes are too big. And what she's referring to are when you use a built-in pattern, and it doesn't matter what kind of tags we created, I'll just show you the ones from last time. These holes are too big. I agree, the holes are too big. I mean, it works, but I made some holes smaller in a couple of different ways. And then I thought this is enough content for a whole other tutorial, because there's a lot of techniques that I can show you in the area of creating tags. And plus, as you know, I like to show you what I'm working on, and these are projects I'm actually working on. All right, and now, before I get started, it is December 11th, and hopefully by the time I publish this video, it's still December 11th, Mountain Time, Salt Lake City. That's where Stampin' Up headquarters is. And once in a blue moon, we have a free shipping sale. And today, December 11th, happens to be our free shipping sale. Unfortunately, the paper, this Let It Snow Designer Series paper is not available anymore, because when something is in our holiday catalog and it runs out, that's it. But this glimmer paper is available, the red glimmer paper, and some cardstock I'll be showing you through this video, like shaded spruce is available. This is a color that coordinates. Blueberry Bushel. So maybe you already have some of this paper and you want to get some coordinating products, or maybe you want to get things from our annual catalog. Every single thing is on sale if you're for $50 or more. I mean, not on sale, free shipping. That is our sale. In other words, it's like saving 10%. You get free shipping on every order. So please check out the link to my store, and if there's ever a time you want to try out Stampin' Up products, getting them when they're free shipping is a great deal. All right, so let's do this. All right, we're gonna start by, you turn on your machine, you see pattern and scan. We're gonna go to the second one, which is the icons, or like the clip art one, I should say. And we're gonna go to this one that looks like tags. Okay, third row, this one. We're gonna get the tag. The tag I'm gonna use is the third tag, because I like this tag. And it's nice and wide. And so when we review the background scanning using our paper, this is a good one to use because it's wide, and the snowman fits in there perfectly. I'm using a different piece of Designer Series paper this time. All right, so we're going to go down to 2 inches wide. 2 inches wide. Now when you change the width, the height changes in proportion. So my tag is 2 inches wide, I'm going to say okay. Now of course you'd make a lot of tags at once. I never just create one tag. We're going to create a lot of tags at once. But let's just go ahead and we're going to do what's called background scanning. Okay, we have this tag and we want to background scan. We want to scan in a piece of Designer Series paper that has Let It Snow on it. Of course you can do this with whatever paper you have. Okay, the little scanner is the background scan. The reason you want to do this is so that you can center, you can take your stylus and center the tag over the correct part of the paper you want to cut. This is a fairly new piece of paper. I've only cut a couple tags out of it, but earlier I cut a whole sheet. It's kind of dark, the background right now, so I can show you that you can go into the settings and you can lighten up your background. So lighten up the background or say okay. So let's take this tag and we're going to put it on top of a snowman. I will zoom in so you can see it. There's a good snowman there. He has his arms raised in the air and he's saying, let it snow, let it snow. Let's go into the edit. I'm going to zoom in so you can see that. I was able to place this tag directly over the snowman where I want to cut it. If you want, you can nudge it using these little arrows. Okay, and again, cut several tags at once, don't just cut one. Because it's saving time and efficiency. So I already cut it a sheet earlier, and I'll show you some of my tags at the end of the video, as I always show my projects at the end. So there we go, we have a tag. It's 2 inches wide, and I'll have the exact measurements in the description. We're gonna cut it, okay? We're just gonna go and cut it. So far, this is the easy part. We've done this all before. You can do this with any model of machine you have. This tag is included in the graphics built into your machine. The difference is, however, when you have an SDX model, you can actually layer the tag. And that's what I'm going to show you next. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this piece of paper off because we don't need it. We don't need it just yet. Or actually, we might not. So let's just take this part. We're going to see now we have a huge hole. Okay? So I wanted to address Vicky's question and show you guys the easiest way, show my crafty friends the easiest way to make a hole smaller. And it's something you can do with this ScanNCut SDX. The easiest way is just to go back here, click on this snowman tag. Now let me get rid of the background so you can totally see what I'm doing. Okay, again, what I just showed you, just so I don't lose anybody, what I showed you here, you can create tags all you want using any model of ScanNCut. But the layering feature, where I'm about to show you now, this method of layering this tag is going to be something you can only do in the SDX machines. Okay, so you go in here, or at least you can't do it, let me clarify. I know you can't do it in the CM350 model because I have this model and you don't have this feature. Okay, I'm not gonna say what models you can do it in. I just know that I'm using an SDX125 and you can do it in this model. I'm gonna go into the edit, okay, and I'm going to go object edit. This little button is layering. It looks like offsets or outline distances. And you're used to that when we're using direct cut. But now we're using a built-in pattern. So this is pretty cool. So you're gonna click on the layer. I'm going to use, let's see, should we use shaded spruce? No, I'm gonna use Blueberry Bushel paper. Okay, it matches this tag. So I'm gonna make a layer for the tag. Now watch. So I wanna make a layer. I'm gonna just go somewhere in the middle. So I'm gonna make it like a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go about 10.110. Okay, I need to zoom in my camera so you can see that it creates an extra layer. If I were to cut this right now, I'm gonna end up with some tiny little border. I need to get rid of the inside. In other words, I create a layer, but now I need to get rid of this. I don't wanna cut this again, I just cut it. Let's show you what I mean. I'm gonna pull this away. The one with the big hole, we're getting rid of. Okay, we're getting rid of that because we just want to cut out the outline right now. So to get rid of that one, because we only really wanted the offset for it, we're going to get rid of that by clicking on it and going trash. Okay, so to answer Vicky's question, the first way of creating a smaller hole, okay, the first way, crafty friends, of creating a smaller hole is the easy way. Just create an offset and you will have a smaller hole. So now I'm going to put a piece, and then I'm going to show you even a more fun way after this that you can use on any machine. I'm going to put a piece of Blueberry Bushel onto my mat, and up here in the corner, let's not put it too close to the corner. Let's just cut this. We're going to cut this in Blueberry Bushel. And again, you would cut a lot at once. And then I'm going to show you how to layer the tag. So anyway, hit cut. There were a couple steps there, but you know how to cut. I mean, you've been watching my channel. You just have to say, okay, cut. Or however many okays. Okay, I just zoom back out. So to get to the cut, I just hit okay a couple times, I got to the cut. You'll see me do it again in a minute when I cut something else. So the first way of making a smaller hole, but this way works only, say, if you have a big tag. Okay, look how great that is. You have a smaller hole. So all I did was to create the smaller hole was to create an offset. And that means that it created an outline distance around the inside and outside of my tag. So let's put the tag on there to show you what I mean. And now you have a beautifully layered tag with a coordinating color. So we have, this is Let It Snow paper with a Blueberry Bushel in the background. Okay, and I like to coordinate the colors. I'll be showing you more examples of coordinating colors in just a few minutes. Okay, so you'd now use foam dimensionals, which I have already some tags created, and you would pop the first tag up, put this on, put the string through it. I was using some twine, and that's how you create a layered tag. And that's how you create a smaller hole in a simple way. Now, let me show you how to create a smaller hole using a way that you can use either on your machine editing or through Canvas Workspace. And that way is going to be called welding. It's a trick. It's another tip and trick. That's why this is a tips and tricks video. So beginners, you know how to go make tags, go make some tags. And if you want to keep following along, this is going to get a little bit more advanced, but no big deal, you can handle it. Everyone can handle this. I'm going to start back at the very beginning. Here's where we are. We are at the beginning. We are going to, I say, let's create a giant tag so you can easily see me work with this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to pattern. We're going to create a giant tag. We're going to go here, and we're going to go down to tags, to the clip art one, and we're going to click, let's use this tag again. I like that tag, so let's just say okay. And we're going to say okay. Now, I could just work with this tag now, but if I make it really, really big, I'm going to go ahead and I move it to the middle, because whenever you resize something really big, put it in the middle first of your mat, because it grows outwards. So if you try to resize it really big and it's over in the corner, it won't resize because there's no place for it to grow. You need room for it to grow. So put it in the middle, go to edit, object edit, and resize it. Resize it all the way up as big as it'll go. As large as it'll go. And this is we're only making a giant tag. I'm not really cutting this giant tag. Oops, it's trying to use a larger mat size. Okay, here we go. I'm not really cutting a tag this big. I'm only enlarging it so that you can see what I'm doing. Later on, we're going to make it smaller. Okay, so here's what I'm about to do. This is what we have to do. If we want to make this hole smaller, we first have to get rid of the hole. We have to get rid of that big hole. And it is, she's right, Vicky's right, it is a giant hole in proportion to this tag. So to get rid of this hole, this is what I'm calling my welding trick. And the reason I can't get rid of it just by clicking on it is it just won't select. I mean, this is one object. I can't ungroup it. Even if I say, okay, object edit, there is no way to ungroup this. This is one single object. All those patterns built into the machine are one single object. So normally, if you wanted to delete the hole, if you were in Canvas Workspace and you made a hole, you delete it by clicking on it and deleting it, like I teach in my courses. However, we are on the machine and we're using a pattern that's built in. We have to do a trick to get rid of this hole. And the trick is, we're going to say okay. The trick is to go and say okay again. And we're going to add a circle that's bigger than the circle. We're going to cover up this circle and we're going to weld the shapes together. Okay, so this is a really fun trick. And the reason I made the tag big again is just so you can see me do the trick. Add. We'll go over here to pattern. So we're going to add a circle, pattern. This first one, circle, square. And there'll be instructions again. There'll be instructions in the description. We're going to go select BA-A045, a circle. Just say okay, set. Okay, it's not enough space on the mat. Of course, you can't put that big of a circle. Let's just make a circle that's a couple inches and see if that fits. It doesn't matter because we're going to resize it in a minute. Yeah, that'll fit. That's okay. Let's see if that'll work. So here's what I did. I put about a 2-inch circle on the mat. It doesn't matter how big my circle is as long as it's bigger than that circle there. It's bigger than the circle I'm trying to get rid of. See? I just want to cover up. I'm covering up the circle right there. All right, so here we go. Now we want to weld the shapes together. So just go to edit and select. In other words, I have a circle selected, but I want to select the background as well. I want to select the tag. I want to select the circle and the tag. This is where you select everything here, the three little squares. And I'm just going to select everything with this second option. And now we have everything selected and say okay. We're going to go into the edit and we're going to go to object edit and we're going to use the weld feature. There's the weld. It looks like two shapes welded together. Okay, now we got rid of the hole. We got rid of the big giant hole. But now we have no hole, so we need to make a smaller hole, and we're going to create now a smaller hole. So let's just create a smaller hole, and then we can resize the whole tag. So let's say okay, and okay. You have to say okay a lot of times in this program. Not as many in the last version of not in my last machine. Okay, we're gonna say add pattern. We're gonna get a circle. And now we can put whatever circle, and you can even put one of these really cool shapes. This makes a nice tag too. Like these shapes make a nice slot for your tag. Depends on what kind of string you're gonna be putting around your tag, but I like a circle. I'm just gonna select circle, and I don't know. It doesn't matter how small we make it because we're gonna make the whole tag smaller. Let's just say set, and let's make it smaller, and I'm gonna show you how to align it as well. So that's bigger than our original hole, so that's not gonna work. Let's go edit, and we're gonna say object edit. Now normally, by the way, if you're making a really tiny tag, I wouldn't make a hole more than a quarter inch. But in this case, I'm just making it small in relation to this big one. So let's see, small. I'm just eyeballing it now. Yep, I think it needs to be even smaller. I have to go away and select something else. There, because it's trying to select it again. Here we go. Smaller, but not too small. And just in relation to the big tag, and we'll make the whole thing smaller after we're all done. I'm kind of happy with that. It's okay. So now what I need to do is I need to take all my shapes, my hole, my tag. Let's get all my shapes, select them all. This one, select them all, and I need to align them. I just need to align them in relation to the center of each other. That's in this button here with the 4 arrows going in different directions, and go up to this one here, which is the align tool, the align button I should say, and we're going to align these in the center in relation to each other. With this one, align vertically, that would be called, align vertically. Okay, we don't want to align them horizontally because we don't want this circle moving all the way down. We just want them to be aligned in a straight line in relation to each other. So we've aligned them, and now we can go ahead and group them. Object, edit, group. So now that they're grouped, that's the group button. We have a smaller hole in our tag. Object, edit, and let's just resize our whole tag. And now we'll make a tag with a smaller hole. Remember the width was 2? We're going to go down and make it 2. Because I want to compare. I want to compare this to the one we made earlier. Object edit, or we got that. Object edit. Okay, background scan. Let's get a piece of this paper again. I'm just using this cute paper. I like using this paper. I like using, sorry you can't get this anymore, guys. I really am. Last time I had a little rebellion. People were like, you sent us to there and we can't get it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we run out of things. It's kind of like while supplies last. So if you do like something, Stampin' Up is limited supplies on things you like. All right, so we're background scanning. Now let's make it lighter. That's where you go into the wrench. Lighter, okay. Let's use this one here. He's a good one. Or here, he's a little close to that one, so I don't want to get into that being too close to the other one. So let's just go over here. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm placing him over the part I want to cut out. That's the skill you learned earlier, background scanning. Then you learned layering. And now we're just reviewing the background scanning. Then you learned welding, and I'm just going to go ahead and say okay and cut. And you learned welding. And then I told you about making a layer. Now the reason I won't make a layer on this one is I have to show you why. If the hole is too small, I already did this earlier, so I can show you why. Okay, if the hole is too small like this, okay, we just cut it out. So now I'm going to compare this, and then I'll get back to why you don't make a layer for this one. So this one we made a smaller hole, and that's great. Well, let's see here. Let's use this one we made an offset, and the hole got smaller by making an offset. However, if we make a layer now on this one, the hole is going to be so small because the offset encloses that little point. I have to just show you by visual example. So here is my visual example to do this earlier. When I made a layer on this one with a smaller hole, the hole is almost gone because the offset encloses the hole and makes it almost non-existent. So for this technique, when you make a smaller hole, you're just going to use the tag as is. You probably wouldn't layer it because the hole would be too small and you'd end up using sort of like a hole puncher. Or you could use the two techniques together, whereas you create the offset and then you create the smaller hole and then you do that, but there's no need to, because that's cute, looks cute layered. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to zoom out and show you my samples now and kind of review the techniques we learned. So yesterday, if you want to, or not yesterday, it was a few days ago. If you want to go back and review how to create tags, in the first time we created tags, you're going to learn about background scanning and creating tags, and you're going to learn how I created these snowflakes using background scan, and I even talked about how to clean glitter out of your machine, how to sharpen your blade. So there were other things in that video. Then in today's video, I was answering a viewer's question about how to make the hole smaller. I showed you how to create layered tags, which you can do with the SDX. Okay, and you can't do on my CM, my ScanNCut 2. I showed you how to layer tags using the layering and the editing feature. And I also showed you how to make the hole smaller using the welding. Okay, so that's the review, and now I'm going to show you my samples. Okay, let's see if I can turn this down a little bit. Okay, just for the lighting purposes. So we have these samples are a 2-inch, these were the ones I just did. These were a 2-inch tag with a 0.10 offset. So then I did it in glitter paper to show my crafty friends. Let me get out the glitter paper or glimmer paper. All right, I made these tags a little bit larger, but I wanted to illustrate a point. These are already layered tags that I created ahead of time, and I didn't put strings on them on purpose, so you can really see this. All right, so using background scanning, you can create offsets or layered tags using different distances. So if you start out, now this one was, let me look at my notes for my glitter examples. I started out with only a 2.25-inch tag. I had to go a little bigger or my holes would disappear. So I started out with like a 2.25-inch tag as opposed to a 2-inch tag here. And I was able to create an offset of 0.08 for this one. And look at that beautifully layered tag with the red glimmer paper. I love glimmer paper, and that is still available, by the way. Yay for glimmer paper. And it coordinates with the suite. And then the next tag I created, again, 2.25 is the base. The offset was 0.10. Okay, now look at the difference in the holes. See how the holes, here, I just put the holes back there. The hole got smaller, answering the viewer question. Then the hole got smaller again. See, as I create another offset of 0.10, and then the hole got smaller even further as I created an offset of 0.12. So those are your 3 offsets in your 3 examples. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. And then let's see, I did layer some in shaded spruce. I can't reach those right now. Let's see. I can show you some Starbucks tags with a big hole and a small hole, just because you were asking me about the hole sizes. And so these were ones I layered last time. I gave you in the last video. Again, if you want to know this washi tape trick, this is the trick was I layered some tape and we cut them out with the ScanNCut. But there are those big holes versus the smaller hole. And I do think Vicky's right, the smaller hole looks a lot better. So those are some examples of tags with smaller holes. Okay, and let's see what else I have. I'm just grabbing whatever's near me. Here's one that's another layered tag with a smaller hole using the offset technique. So I hope you enjoyed these new techniques. I hope it builds upon the tag making video that I did the other day. And I hope if it's still December 11th by the time I publish this video, because it does take me a while to get them up here on YouTube, I hope you will take advantage of our free shipping sale using my link, because it's the only time we've done it this year as far as I know of. All right, that's all for now. This is the Papered Chef.